is Rachel, and today I'm bringing you my most anticipated releases of 2022. So full disclosure, this is not going to be a completed list because we don't know all the books that are coming out in 2022 yet, and the dates are all very susceptible to change. If we've learned anything in the past few years, it's that dates are just suggestions at this point. So please keep that in mind if you're marking these on your calendar. But without further ado, let's get into my top 15. I'm going to announce them by their date of publication. So we're going to start in February and go all the way to August. So starting in February 1st, we're going to have two books that I'm super excited to see. One is a YA horror novel called Horror Hotel by Victoria Fulton and Faith McLaren. What drew me in is the cover. Absolutely, because that is an amazing cover. My students, my teens especially, really love to read horror novels, so that also drew me in. This is marketed on Goodreads as the Blair Witch Project for the TikTok generation. So this is going to follow a group of ghost hunting YouTubers that want to stake out a supposedly haunted LA hotel, and I'm assuming things don't go well. So I'm excited for that one. Also coming out on February 1st is I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. I just love this author. She has a fantastic way of taking kind of obscure history and making it really exciting to read about. This is a YA historical fiction, and it hurts to say that because I think this book takes place in 1989, so that stings a little, but that aside, this is set in Romania, 1989. I believe there's some sort of revolutionary aspect dealing with the communist agenda happening in the area at this time. So I'm super excited to dive into this one. Again, supposed to come out February 1st. Next up is a sequel that I'm dying to get to. This is supposed to be coming out February 8th. It's called Homicide and Hollow. This is the second book in the Tita Rosie's Kitchen Mystery by Mia P. Meninsala. I have no idea what this one's about. I haven't read the synopsis. To be honest, I don't care. I'm just so excited to read it. The first book in this series came out last year, and it was called Arsenic and Adobo, and I absolutely loved it. It featured this adorable little family who runs this Filipino restaurant, and our main character comes back to live with them and help run the restaurant, and of course a nasty food critic comes in and ends up being poisoned while eating at their restaurant. So of course they look guilty and they have to kind of help themselves out of that situation. Loved it. Can't wait for the second one. No idea what it's about, but it should be coming to us February 8th. Later in February, on the 22nd, we get The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Lucy Foley has written some other very popular mysteries in the past few years. We had The Hunting Party and The Guest List, and I believe this one's supposed to be very similar. I think this follows a woman who is kind of down on her luck and goes to visit her brother in his Paris apartment, but he's not there. So I think that lays into the mystery of like, where is the brother? I don't know much more about that because I don't want to ruin the mystery for myself, but it looks interesting. I have enjoyed the other books by Lucy Foley, so I am excited to get into that one. And then in March, on March 8th, we have One for All by Lily Lainoff. This is a gender-bending reimagining of the Three Musketeers. That's all I know. That's all I need to know. I'm excited for this. I plan on reading this along with the original Three Musketeers this year, just to get the full experience. And I'm super excited for that. Again, that's March 8th. And then in April, on the 5th, we get the second book in the Jane Austen murder mystery series by Tirzah Price. This year, it's a reimagining of Sense and Sensibility, and this one's called Sense and Second Degree Murder. I have not read the description of this book, but I can tell you last year we got Pride and Premeditation, and basically what the author did was take the characters and this kind of the setting of Pride and Prejudice and reimagined it as a historical murder mystery involving all those characters, and it was so much fun. Pride and Prejudice is my favorite book, so I think that had a lot to do with why I liked it so much. So I'm very interested to see how I'll do with the one that I haven't read the original text for. I haven't read Sense and Sensibility. I've tried before and just couldn't get into it, so I'm kind of going into this one without the reference text, so it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes, but I still think I'm going to really enjoy this one. Also on April 5th, we're getting another one that I'm super excited about. It's called Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. This This is a YA fantasy novel. It says for fans of Caraval and the Night Circus. I haven't read the Night Circus yet, but I loved Caraval, so I'm very excited to see this. I don't know a ton about this actually because the Caraval reference pulled me in, but I do expect it to be kind of a dark, elaborate setting with some fantastical elements mixed in, and I am excited to give that one a read in April. And then in May, on the 24th, we get a Kirsten White book called Hide, and the cover is amazing. I think it's some sort of like a hide and seek competition, possibly set on the backdrop of like a carnival setting because there's a Ferris wheel on the cover, and it kind of gave me like Squid Games-esque vibes. Like the person who wins is going to get a lot of money, but the people who don't win may not do so well. Now, I don't know if they all die. I don't know what happens, but just reading the synopsis gave me that kind of feel. So I'm excited. I'm intrigued. This is another horror novel, but I think this one might be an adult title. So I am interested to read this one and see how it goes. Also out in May is a sequel that I am highly anticipating, and that is The Merciless Ones by Namina Forna, and this is the Deathless 2 book. I just finished reading the first book recently, which is The Gilded Ones, and it was absolutely fantastic, and it does kind of leave you wanting to see the next chapter for our character. So I'm excited to get to this one. These covers are phenomenal. What I can tell you is the first one follows our main character, Decca, who undergoes a bloodletting ceremony to decide if she is pure or not. And of course, she is not pure. She has gold blood instead of red, which kind of sets her apart as a demon in their world. And they attempt to kill her, and they can't, because it turns out that the gold blood that she has is a marking of being basically immortal. There are some ways to kill them, but not many, and she really has a strong ability to come back. So she's being tortured, and then finally this woman shows up and whisks her away and brings her to a camp where they teach these girls from all over the country with gold blood, how to be warriors to protect the country, their little kingdom, from the monsters that attack people from the outskirts. It was absolutely fantastic. Cannot wait for the sequel, and that's coming at the end of May on the 31st. Next is a YA mystery thriller by Kate Williams. It's called Never Coming Home. It's coming out June 21st. And from what I did read of it, it seems like they invite basically these really popular teen influencers to an island, either for some sort of like TV show or for some sort of game, and things don't go well. This sounds like something my kids would really enjoy, possibly something we could read for my high school book club, so very excited about Never Coming Home. Next up is Riley Sager's new release. This originally had a June 21st date, but has already been changed to July 7th. It's called The House Across the Lake, and I don't know a ton about this one because, again, when you read like mystery ones, you don't want to know too much. But from what I did read, it reminded me a lot of The Woman in the Window that came out several years ago. So I'm going to be very interested to see how this one turns out, and especially after his last edition. The book he put out last year was Survive the Night, and that had very split reviews. So I'm very interested to see how The House Across the Lake is going to go. Again, that's coming in early July. Another one I'm very excited for in July is the next Ruth Ware novel. It's called The It Girl, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't read anything about this one either. My guess is that it's about a girl who was very popular a while back in high school, and now that's coming to fruition with some sort of murder of somebody in their little cliquey group. That's just my guess based on what I know about Ruth Ware. I'm officially all caught up with Ruth Ware, so I'm gonna try to keep up with her new releases every year, and yeah, I'm excited to read it and see what I think. Another July release, also on the 12th, is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I read his new release this past year called The Final Support Group, and I really enjoyed it, so I, again, didn't read much about this one. I saw Grady Hendrix. I love the title. I put it on this list. I'm super excited to give it a read. The thing I like about Grady Hendrix books is that they can be both very scary and very campy at the same time, and I really enjoy that. So I'm looking very forward to How to Sell a Haunted House. And then last up in July is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, and somebody on Goodreads commented like with the song I Will Always Love You from the movie The Bodyguard, and that's what it makes me think too. But I think it's kind of like a gender bent bodyguard situation. The man in this case is the one who needs the protection, and the girl is actually the bodyguard, and she's very like unassuming looking. So and of course it's a romance, so you know where it goes from there, but I love the cover. It looks adorable. I think it's going to be a great read. And again, that's going to be July 19th. And my 15th and final book for this video is Empty Spaces. This is the fourth and final book in the Small Spaces series by Catherine Arden. This series follows three friends who kind of come together in the first book called Small Spaces, where some evil shows up on their fall field trip from school and kind of follows them through the series. One of the unique things about this series is that each book takes place in a different season, and it very much becomes an element in the story, especially for the first two. So I'm excited to see how this one goes, because the third one left on a huge cliffhanger. So we've had the fall one with Small Spaces. The second one was called Dead Voices. That's the winter one. They got snowed into a ski lodge. And then the third one that came out last year was Dark Waters. That was set in spring, and there was again a huge cliffhanger at the end of that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this one wraps up. This is probably the most terrifying cover because of that big giant clown face, but I'm still very excited. This is going to be coming out in early August on the 9th, and I'm very, very excited to get to the finale of this and see how it ends up for our main character. So there you have my most anticipated books of the year. So what I'd like to know is, are you influenced to read any of these books now that I've mentioned them here in this video? Are there any books that you're excited about that I didn't mention? Definitely let me know down in the comments below. Let's chat. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you again in another video soon. Bye for now.